Ciao ragazzi, this is Talk Calcio TV on YouTube. Buonasera tutti, welcome to this episode of Talk Calcio TV. Did you all have a nice Easter? I thought you did. As you know, both Italian teams this week are in Champions League action. Juventus of course host Real Madrid, a repeat of last year's final which they lost in Cardiff 4-1. The Bianconeri will be out for revenge against Los Blancos. The Giallorossi Roma, however, are away at the Nou Camp against the Belgrano of Barcelona. In this episode we're going to give you a bit of a history on both of our Spanish opponents, our build up to the match itself, and our own very own predictions. So stay tuned for this one. So starting with Tuesday's tie, of course then, Juventus versus Real Madrid, Italy's most successful against Spain's most successful. What do we know about Real Madrid themselves? Real Madrid were founded in 1902. The name Real is a translation of the Spanish word royal. They are the team of the Spanish royal family. They are nicknamed Los Blancos due to their kit being completely plain white, the blanks as you could say. They have won their domestic league just like Juventus 33 times, La Liga. They've won the Spanish Copa del Rey 19 times, the UEFA Cup twice, the UEFA Super Cup 4 times, the European Cup, now Champions League, a record 12 times. Of those 12 times they have won the European Cup, or now Champions League, they have faced Italian opposition 4 of those finals. They have defeated Fiorentina, AC Milan, and then tomorrow night's opponents Juventus in 1998 in Amsterdam, and of course last year 2017 in Cardiff 4-1. Real Madrid have only ever lost 2 finals, beginning against Portuguese side Benfica, and then the last being against Liverpool in 1981. Real Madrid are currently managed by Zinedine Zidane, former French international, a former player of Juventus and Real Madrid. With the Bianconeri, he was in 2 Champions League finals, losing both, 1997 against Borussia Dortmund in Munich, and then against Real Madrid 1998 in Amsterdam. He would then be sold to Real Madrid by Juventus in 2001 for a world record fee at the time of over €50 million. His first season he would win the Champions League in 2002 for Real Madrid, after they defeated Bayer Leverkusen at Hampden Park in Glasgow, Zidane actually scoring a famous volley at the winning goal. Zidane originally joined Real Madrid as youth team manager. He would then be understudy to Carlo Ancelotti when they won their 10th La Decima European Cup / Champions League in 2014 after they defeated Atletico in extra time. Zidane would then take over the reins after former Napoli manager Rafael Benitez was sacked in early 2016. However, momentum would take them through to another Champions League final where they would defeat Atletico yet again, albeit on penalties. They would then win La Liga last season, as you know, and then retain the Champions League, the first team to do it since AC Milan in 1989 and 1990. This year, however, for Zidane and Real Madrid, things haven't gone according to plan in La Liga. They are currently third, 13 points behind Barcelona, the leaders. They did win against Las Palmas 3-0 at the weekend. In the Champions League, you think if they were to be eliminated by Juventus over these 2-legged tie, it could be the end for Zidane at a club where winning is simply not enough. When we look at the head-to-head between Juventus and Real Madrid, it reads plain 19, 9 wins in the favour of Los Blancos, 8 in the favour of the Bianconeri, and there have been 2 draws. Whilst we know Real Madrid have won the 2 finals against Juventus, when it comes to knockout competition since it was rebranded Champions League, it is in the favour of Juventus here. Now, Juventus, before they won their second crown in 1996, they eliminated Real Madrid 2-1 on aggregate goals, as you know, from Padovano and Del Piero. They would then meet the next time in a knockout competition, 2002 and 2003 semi-final. Now, Juventus had lost the first leg at the Bernabeu 2-1, but in the second leg they would win that 3-1 thanks to goals from Trezeguet, Del Piero and Nedved. He would then be suspended for the final. Zinedine Zidane would draw a consolation goal back for Real Madrid. 2004 and 2005 season, Juventus would then eliminate Real Madrid 2-1 on aggregate, as you know, Marcelo Zalaeta scoring a winning goal in extra time. And then of course 2014-2015 season, the two were in the semi-final yet again of the Champions. Juventus won the first tie 2-1 at the Juventus Stadium, or Allianz Arena as it is now known. When they went to the Bernabeu, they were 1-0 down, but they would equalise from Alvaro Morata, who would bear in mind a Real Madrid player who was on loan to Juventus at the time, and they would make the final to Berlin, albeit beaten by Real Madrid's biggest rivals, Barcelona 3-1. Going into tomorrow night's game then itself, Juventus right now, well, they are flying. They are 4 points clear in Serie A above Napoli. They are in the Coppa Italia final where they will face AC Milan. They had a morale boosting win at the weekend, beating AC Milan 3-1, and Paulo Dybala, this man here, started the scoring. He knows it, he's nodding. As for the prediction tomorrow night, I'm going to go for a Juventus win. Why not? They are home. I think they're going to use their home advantage to as much as they can. The second leg in the Bernabeu is really going to be the telling one. Now, in Serie A, no one can compete with Juventus economically. You know, they have the big names there. They don't have big names household like Toni Kroos, Cristiano Ronaldo, Isco, Gareth Bale, if he plays. I think that second leg in the Bernabeu is going to be the be-all and end-all. But, you know, Real Madrid, though, when it comes to the Champions League, they might be struggling in the league. They are a completely different side. You know, we look at the way they dismantled Paris Saint-Germain in the last round. You can never write Real Madrid off, love them or hate them. They'll always get there about, and given their record in this competition and finals, you know, they've only ever lost 2 finals. Look how many they've been in the last 5 years as well. So we can't write them off. But we're going to go for a first leg win to Juventus, the Bianconeri. The Barla is nodding. So, on to the other tie on Wednesday night. It is Barcelona hosting Roma, the Giallorossi. So what do we know about the Blaugrana themselves, Barcelona? Football Club Barcelona, or FC Barca as they are sometimes known for short, were founded in 1899 by a group of Swiss, English and Catalan footballers. They represent the Catalan region of Spain, also culture-wise, hence the motto, more than a club. Their colours are red and blue. They are nicknamed the Blaugrana. Barcelona are Spain's second most successful club. They have a massive arch rivalry, as you know, with Real Madrid, given the differences both on and off the pitch and politically, as you know. They have won the Liga 24 times, the Copa del Rey 29 times, the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, as it is now deceased, they won 5 times, the UEFA Super Cup they've also won 5 times. They have also won the European Cup, now Champions League, 5 times as well. Barcelona won their first ever European Cup in 1992, managed by former great Johan Cruyff. They defeated Italian champions at the time Sampdoria 1-0 at Wembley Stadium in a free kick in extra time scored by Dutchman Ronald Koeman, of course now manager of Holland. Barcelona would then appear in another final 2 years later against Italian opposition AC Milan, but they would be on the wrong end of a 4-0 drubbing in Athens. They would not feature in a final till 2006, managed by former European Cup winner himself Frank Rijkaard with Ajax and AC Milan. They would defeat 10-man Arsenal in the final in Paris 2-1. Samuel Eto'o and Julian Belletti scoring the goals to give the Blaugrana their second European Frank Rijkaard would be sacked, and in 2008-2009 Barcelona were now under the management of Josep Guardiola, of course a player who won the first ever European Cup with Barcelona in 1992. They would make it to the final in Rome at the Stadio Olimpico, of course home of tomorrow night's opponents Roma, where they would defeat Manchester United 2-0. Goals from Samuel Eto'o and Lionel Messi in the Eternal City will give Barcelona their third ever Champions League. In 2011 we would have a repeat of that final. It was yet again Barcelona versus Manchester United, Guardiola versus Ferguson, but it was the same result. Barcelona would beat the Red Devils 3-1 to win their 4th European Cup crown. 2015 was the last time Barcelona were in a final and of course won the competition. They defeated Italian champions at the time Juventus 3-1 in Berlin. Goals from Rakitic, Suarez and of course Neymar was enough to give them their 5th European crown. In the record history of the competition, they have lost the final 3 times, but not since 1994, since the 4-0 defeat against AC Milan. So, when we look at the head-to-head record between Barcelona and Roma, there's only ever been 4 meetings. Barcelona, the Blaugrana, have won 1, the Giallorossi Roma have won 1, and there have been 2 draws. The first meeting came in the 2001-2002 Champions League season. Now, the format of the competition was a bit different then. You had the main group stage, and then you had a secondary group stage. They were drawn in the same group along with English side Liverpool. Roma would win the first meeting at the Stadio Olimpico 3-0. Goals from Emerson, Montella and Tomasi was enough to give them a 3-0 win then. However, when it went to the Nou Camp, they would draw 1 each. Now, Christian Panucci, of course, gave Roma the lead, before Dutchman Patrick Kluivert would strike to end 1-1. In that secondary group stage, it was actually Barcelona and Liverpool that would go through at the expense of Roma. The teams didn't meet until the 2015-2016 season of the Champions League being drawn in the same group. Now, the first tie at the Stadio Olimpico ended 1-1. Luis Suarez scored for Barcelona, but then Roma equalised from Alessandro Florenzi. Now, you've seen that goal viral the world over. Of course, he volleyed it from his own half, and it had gone in. It went all the way over Ter Stegen in the Barcelona net into the goal. It was just one of those goals unbelievable to watch. By the time they played the return fixture in the Camp Nou, well, the tie wasn't as evenly balanced. The Blaugrana would beat Roma 6-1. Suarez and Messi both scoring a brace that night. So going into Wednesday night's game then, at the weekend, as you know, Barcelona drew 2-2 with Seville, managed by Vincenzo Montella, of course, who scored against Barcelona for Roma in the 2001-2002 season. Barcelona, though, are top. They are just taking the time down to win the Liga. Roma, on the other hand, are currently third in Serie A. They are miles behind second place Napoli. I think the gap is about 13 points, if I'm correct. They are trying to currently fight off Inter Milan and cross-city rivals Lazio for the Champions League spot. Now, what was a massive blow against when they failed to beat Bologna in the 1-1 draw at the weekend was they lost this man, the ninja himself, Radjo Nainggolan. Now, he is going to be a massive key loss for Roma in Wednesday's clash at the Nou Camp, that is for certain. Now, when we look at Barcelona, you look at the difference in talent, just look at their midfield. Rakitic, Iniesta, Suarez, Messi. I could go on all day. On paper, it's hard not to say that the Belgrana Barcelona are going to be victorious on this one in the first leg. I can't help. Upsets can happen though. One thing I would like to see though, Roma have to do whatever it takes to keep the tie alive going into the second. You could say it's going to be damage limitations. We're not being negative. If we want Roma to win. It's an Italian channel here. We want our Italian teams to go well and go far. But I've got to say, if Roma can just if they can get an away goal, if they lose maybe 2-1 or something, or just getting a goal, or maybe only lose by 1 goal, they need to keep the tie alive going into the second leg at the Stadio Olimpico. If they lose 2 or 3-0, then going into the second leg, I can't see Roma coming back from that. One issue, unlike Barcelona, they're full of goals. Suarez, Messi, the list goes on. Roma, on the other hand, at the weekend against Bologna, he started Schick instead of Dzeko. Dzeko then come on and scored. And, Di Francesco wanted to rest him for this game. Roma just haven't got quality in abundance. Of course, Cengiz Ünder is also missing at the moment due to an injury as well. So the odds are stacked against Roma, but who knows? Upsets can occasionally happen. And after all, Barcelona did draw against Seville at the weekend. See, there's your reason for the optimism. But we're going to go for a Barcelona win on this one. See what the second leg brings. So thanks for watching this episode of Talk Calcio TV, and tell us how you think our Italian teams are going to get on against the Spanish teams in the Champions League quarter-finals. Just a quick reminder, as you know, on Wednesday, also at tea time, there is the rescheduled Derby Della Madoninna, the Milan Derby, of course, AC Milan against Inter Milan. Now, the two teams were meant to play, as you know, on March the 4th. That game, of course, was suspended or didn't take place due to the sad death of Davide Astori. Below we've put the link though so you can watch the history of the Milan Derby from the foundations to the very present day. So tell us what you think of everything, like, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. Talk Calcio TV on YouTube. Arrivederci, ciao!